Picture this. A young princess walks along a pristine beach at dawn, her laughter mixing with the sound of crashing waves. She has no idea that in moments she'll encounter one of history's greatest heroes at his most vulnerable point. This is the story of how compassion and nobility can shine brightest in the darkest moments. In ancient Greece, stories weren't just entertainment. They were blueprints for how to live with honor, courage, and wisdom. The Greeks believed that the gods watched every action, rewarding virtue and punishing cruelty. Today we're diving into one of the most beautiful examples of this philosophy from Homer's Odyssey. Our story takes place on the island of Scheria, home to the Phaeacians, a people blessed by the gods with prosperity and peace. This isn't just any island. It's a place where divine favor flows like wine, where ships sail without captains, and where hospitality is considered sacred. The Phaeacians represent the ideal of civilized society, and their princess embodies everything noble about their culture. Nausicaa isn't your typical mythological princess. She's not locked in a tower or cursed by jealous gods. She's vibrant, intelligent, and blessed with both beauty and wisdom. The daughter of King Alcinous and Queen Arete, she's been raised to understand that true nobility comes from how you treat others, especially those in need. This morning, she's about to put that teaching to the ultimate test. Meanwhile, somewhere in the wine-dark sea, a man clings to a piece of driftwood. This is Odysseus, the hero of Troy, the master strategist who conceived the wooden horse that ended the 10-year war. But right now, he's not a hero. He's a broken man who's been wandering for 10 years, trying to reach his home in Ithaca. Poseidon, god of the sea, has been tormenting him for blinding the Cyclops, Polyphemus, Poseidon's son. For 18 days, Odysseus has been at sea on a makeshift raft. Just when land appeared on the horizon, Poseidon struck again. The sea god summoned a massive storm, shattering the raft and nearly drowning our hero. Only the intervention of Ino, a sea nymph, saved his life. She gave him a magical veil that kept him afloat as he swam for 2 days and nights toward the distant shore. When Odysseus finally crawls onto the beach of Scheria, he's more dead than alive. His skin is raw from salt water, his body battered by rocks and waves. He's completely naked, having lost everything to the sea. This mighty hero who once stood proud before the walls of Troy now hides beneath a pile of leaves like a wounded animal. He's at the absolute lowest point of his journey. But the gods work in mysterious ways. While Odysseus sleeps his exhausted sleep, Athena visits Nausicaa in a dream. The goddess of wisdom disguises herself as one of the princess's friends and plants a clever idea. She suggests that Nausicaa should go to the river mouth to wash clothes, hinting that it's time to prepare for marriage. The real reason, of course, is to position the princess exactly where she needs to be. The next morning, Nausicaa convinces her father to let her take the royal wagon to the washing pools. She brings her handmaidens, and they turn the chore into a joyful adventure. After washing the clothes, they spread them on the beach to dry and begin playing with a ball. Their laughter echoes across the sand as they enjoy their freedom from palace duties. Then fate intervenes. Nausicaa throws the ball to one of her friends, but it goes wide, splashing into the river. The girls shriek with laughter at the mishap, but their voices carry farther than they realize. The sound wakes Odysseus from his deep sleep. Imagine his situation. He's naked, filthy, and desperate. His hair is matted with seaweed, his beard wild and unkempt. He looks more like a sea monster than a hero. But he needs help, and these voices might be his only chance. Carefully, he breaks off a leafy branch to cover himself and emerges from his hiding place. The sight of this wild man sends most of the handmaidens screaming and running, but Nausicaa stands her ground. Something in her noble heart recognizes that this isn't a monster or a madman. This is a human being in desperate need. Her courage in this moment reveals the true strength of her character. Odysseus, despite his desperate condition, remembers his noble upbringing. He doesn't approach too closely, respecting the princess's modesty. Instead, he speaks from a distance, and his words are a masterpiece of diplomacy and humility. He compares Nausicaa to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, praising her beauty and grace. But more importantly, he appeals to her sense of compassion and honor. He tells her he's been at sea for 20 days, that he's a stranger who's lost everything. He doesn't reveal his identity or boast of his achievements. Instead, he throws himself on her mercy, asking only for some clothing and directions to the city. He promises that the gods will bless her for her kindness, perhaps with a good husband and a happy home. Nausicaa's response reveals why she's remembered as one of mythology's most admirable characters. She doesn't just help Odysseus, she does so with dignity and wisdom that would make her parents proud. She calls back her scattered handmaidens, reminding them that strangers are sent by Zeus himself, and that showing hospitality to them is a sacred duty. She orders her servants to give Odysseus food, drink, and clothing. She tells them to bathe him in the river, though Odysseus, mindful of propriety, asks to wash himself privately. This small detail shows the mutual respect between them. Even in his desperate state, Odysseus maintains his honor, and Nausicaa appreciates this gesture. When Odysseus emerges from his bath, clean and dressed, Athena works her magic. She makes him appear taller, more handsome, with thick curly hair like hyacinth flowers. The transformation is so dramatic that Nausicaa barely recognizes him as the same ragged stranger. She begins to wonder if this might be a god in disguise, or perhaps a hero worthy of her attention. The princess's attraction to Odysseus is subtle, but clear. She even tells her handmaidens that she wouldn't mind having such a man as a husband. This innocent comment reveals her growing fascination with this mysterious stranger who speaks so eloquently and carries himself with such dignity. But Nausicaa is also wise beyond her years. She knows that appearing in the city with a strange man would cause gossip and potentially damage her reputation. So she gives Odysseus careful instructions on how to reach the palace while avoiding scandal. She tells him to follow the wagon at a distance until they reach the sacred grove of Athena outside the city. Her plan shows remarkable political awareness. She advises Odysseus to bypass her father and appeal directly to her mother, Queen Arete. This isn't just protocol, it's strategic thinking. Arete holds real power in Scheria, and winning her favor is the key to gaining the help Odysseus needs. As they part ways, there's a poignant sense of what might have been. Nausicaa is young, beautiful, and clearly attracted to this mysterious hero. Odysseus is grateful and impressed by her nobility. In another story, this might be the beginning of a romance. But Odysseus has a wife waiting in Ithaca, and Nausicaa's destiny lies elsewhere. This encounter illustrates one of the most important concepts in Greek culture, xenia, or hospitality to strangers. The Greeks believed that any stranger might be a god in disguise, testing their virtue. By showing kindness to Odysseus, Nausicaa not only proves her noble character, but also earns divine favor. The story also highlights the power of compassion over fear. While her servants fled in terror, Nausicaa chose to see the humanity in this frightening stranger. Her courage and kindness literally save Odysseus's life and set him on the path home to Ithaca. Modern readers can find inspiration in Nausicaa's example. In our world of increasing division and suspicion, her willingness to help a desperate stranger reminds us of our shared humanity. She shows us that true nobility isn't about birth or wealth, but about how we treat those who have less than we do. The meeting between Nausicaa and Odysseus has inspired countless artists, writers, and thinkers throughout history. From ancient Greek pottery to Renaissance paintings to modern novels, this scene continues to resonate because it captures something essential about human nature at its best. This brief encounter on a beach in ancient Greece teaches us that heroism isn't always about slaying monsters or winning battles. Sometimes it's about showing kindness to a stranger, offering help without expecting reward, and choosing compassion over fear. Nausicaa's legacy reminds us that the greatest victories are often won not with swords, but with open hearts.